Hello, my name is James Vanatakis and I'm the Director of the Forrest Research Foundation. The foundation exists to bring together the 5 Perth-based universities to make Western Australia a global knowledge, research and creative hub. While our only theme is excellence, many of our researchers work on oceans, reflecting the strength of our 5 partner-based universities. This year, like many others around the world, the foundation celebrates World Ocean Day to honour our shared ocean, an ocean that connects us all. Leading scientists from around the world have determined that a healthy ocean is key to solving both climate change and our biodiversity crisis. As such, we join calls that by 2030, 30% of the world's oceans, lands and waters are protected. But as you will see in this short video, our research is not only about protecting the world's oceans, but ensuring that we all get to enjoy the oceans today and for many generations to come. From focusing on plastics to erosion, climate change adaptation, and understanding the way marine species respond to the changing environment by researching their acoustics and the changing behaviours, we strive to ensure our one shared ocean flourishes.
My greatest concern for oceans is the degradation of coastal ecosystems and its consequences for marine life. Millions of species depend on healthy coastal habitats to feed, rest, grow, and reproduce, but our activities are threatening them more than ever before. I studied the movement and behavior of endangered sharks and rays in coastal northern Australia with the Garajari people, and our goal is to understand habitat use of swordfish and stingrays to develop appropriate management strategies and protect these species for future generations. Beyond science and politics, I believe that all of us can help prevent the loss of marine diversity by being mindful seafood consumers and also by keeping our trash in the trash. But most importantly, by always being curious about the natural world, because we really do care better for what we respect and understand.
The ocean is noisy. The noise level is increasing every year. It's posing a threat to the animal and their habitats. For most marine animals living there, they rely on sound for major life functions. To be able to assess the noise impacts, the most important thing is that we need to know what animal can hear. Unfortunately, currently we don't know too much about it. To fill this gap, my research is to use numerical modeling techniques combined with high-resolution image scanning to study hearing in marine animal species, especially those endangered ones, such as Australian sea lions and little penguins. We need people to be aware of the noise pollution in the ocean. Then we can set some measures to reduce the noise level from some human activities such as seismic surveys, shippings, especially in those animal habitats.
Climate change is rapidly altering the distribution of species and the health of our ocean ecosystems. Many ocean habitats, such as kelp forests and coral reefs, are in declines in various places around the world. And this has really important downstream implications for the ecosystem services that we rely on, such as fisheries and tourism, and even carbon and nutrient cycling at global and local scales. In the face of climate change, some populations or individuals tend to perform better than others, even when we're looking at the same species. My research aims to understand why this is by exploring the genetic and ecological factors that facilitate climate resilience in habitat-forming seaweeds. In doing so, I hope to allow for better predictions about how climate change will impact these vital habitats, as well as better understanding whether marine species have the capacity to adapt, and if there's anything we can do to help them through these treacherous times. The number one thing that everyone can do to help combat climate change is to advocate for climate action. We simply must begin reducing the amount of greenhouse gases that we're emitting if we want a chance at maintaining the ocean ecosystems that we know and love for future generations.
The response of the coastline to the behavior of the ocean is very complex. And what I do is trying to understand physical processes on coastal oceans. That is the interplay between waves, tides, the winds, currents, and how they interact to cause things like coastal flooding and erosion. And with climate change, it's becoming harder and harder to predict how the ocean will affect the shore. My main goal is to develop a body of knowledge that can be applicable in many coastlines worldwide. For that, I use drones, cameras, satellites, and sensors underwater. I compare the data collected with the laws of physics to gain insight on how the coast evolves over time. One thing that anyone can do to help: leave nature be, leave the ocean be, lower your environmental footprint, talk about climate change.
Did you know that 12 million tons of plastic end up in our oceans every year? That's 1 truckload of plastic input per minute. Unfortunately, marine plastic pollution possesses a big threat to human health and life below water. Our research focuses on microbial plastic degradation. That means we teach bacteria to eat plastics in marine conditions. And we do this by producing the fastest plastic degrading enzymes with the fastest growing bacterium in the world. We can all help to beat marine plastic pollution. Research like ours can develop sustainable recycling methods in ocean water for the future. But politics need to act now and ban all single-use plastics. And you can help too by making a conscious shopping decision and avoid plastic waste.
Sea level rise and change in the intensity and frequency of extreme events, such as tropical cyclones, pose a great threat to coastal communities around the world. And my research focuses on how these ecosystems can provide coastal protection, how they effectively provide a buffer against coastal flooding and erosion. To combat this, natural and nature-based solutions can play an important role. These approaches can include the conservation and restoration of ecosystems like mangrove forests, like seagrass meadows and coral reefs. So one thing we can all do to preserve these coastal environments for future generations is to limit our carbon emissions, and we'll have less sea level rise, so less risk of flooding and erosion. The other thing we can do is to advocate and support policies that promote the sustainable use of these environments and also conserve these ecosystems.
Our oceans contain a staggering amount of untapped renewable energy. With the world's urgent need to decarbonise, a key question is how can we effectively and sustainably tap into this? My research concerns the extreme forces caused by waves and current on the supporting structures of offshore wind turbines. By better understanding these extreme forces, we can optimise the design of these structures, which can then drive down costs and therefore enable more projects to come into fruition. Several offshore wind projects have been proposed in Western Australia. I encourage everyone to keep a tab on this evolving space.
The state of our current marine megafauna is in decline across the entire world, and this can have really big impacts on the entire ecosystem as they play really unique trophic roles. My research primarily focuses on using tags to be able to collect data on movement and behaviour of these animals. That can then in turn be used for us to track where they're moving, how different environmental circumstances, so the habitat that they're in, the temperature of the water can all influence both their predicted patterns in movement and behaviour and also the energetic costs of those movements and behaviour. And we can overlay this with certain habitat features to be able to identify areas that need to be conserved and managed. My biggest thing for how we can help with the marine environment is just respecting it. We need to respect the animals in it and the marine environment, and we really need to respect the rules and regulations that are in place, because they are in place for a reason and it's for long-term goals.
The ancient Stoic philosophers said that the most important things to appreciate are the things you already have, for you only recognise their real value once they have gone. World Ocean Day rallies the world on the 8th of June to celebrate and appreciate our oceans. But we shouldn't just appreciate today, we should celebrate the availability of these beautiful resources every day. And let's work together to protect and restore our shared oceans, ensuring they prosper and create a stable climate. In this spirit, we are proud to conduct the science we need for the oceans that we want. Thank you.